Coming up, we have stories about scaring the peeping neighbors, hitting on your sister-in-law at your daughter's birthday party, mother-in-law blames wife for her son's cheating behavior, hubby lays down ground rules for pregnancy, your child, your responsibility, leaving a job after they revoke your time off, ruining a bachelorette party after being told to lose weight, you're an asshole, then I'll take the Netflix away. We're in and on a good petty revenge there again. I like it. Am I the astronaut for intentionally scaring my neighbor's kids? My 29 female bedroom window faces the front yard. During the day, I have the blinds half open, enough to let some light in and sunshine for my cats. From the street and even the front yard, it's not possible to see clearly into my bedroom. Because of this, I do often walk through my bedroom in my underwear or just partly dressed to get to the bathroom. I don't risk walking around naked, though. Recently, my neighbor's twin kids, both male and I'm guessing around 7 years old, have started looking into my bedroom window. I don't just mean standing by the window in my yard, I'm talking faces and hands completely pressed up against the window looking in. I assume this started with them looking at my cats, but now I think they consider it some type of game with me. If they see me, they run back home laughing. I've caught them outside on a number of occasions and asked them directly not to do this, but again, they just run away laughing like it's a game. I've also spoken to their parents multiple times and they refuse to do anything about it. Okay, that's a problem. That's problematic. The response I got was, they're just kids being kids, and if you don't want someone looking in your window, just keep it closed. Pfft, good job. Good job, folks. I think that teaching your kids that it's okay to go to somebody's property and peek in their window is kind of up. I know they're only young, but I still feel like my privacy is being invaded. This has been going on almost daily for months now until last week. I walked in my bedroom and heard the kids playing outside, then spotted the terrifying demon-like mask that my boyfriend wore to a Halloween party the night before. So I got an idea. I stood next to my window wearing the mask for almost 20 minutes. Finally, I heard the footsteps approaching and waited until both kids had their noses pressed up against the window. At that moment, I jumped out, mask right at their eye level, and let out the deepest and loudest roar I possibly could. In all the years living next to these neighbors, I've never heard them scream as loudly as they did when they saw me. They ran home screaming and crying, and just minutes later, their mother was at my door, calling me a monster for scaring her children. I simply told her that I do what I want in my own house, and if her kids don't want to see that, they should stay away from the window. It's been a week now, and I'm glad to say that the kids have not even stepped foot on my front lawn. Not sure if it's because they're traumatized or the parents have told them not to do it anymore. Either way, I'm happy. I felt justified at the time, but everyone I've told has said I took it too far for such young children. So I don't know. Am I the astronaut? Okay, let's talk about this.
Nope.
That's not no. I mean,
you already asked the parents for them to stop, and parents not asking their little kids not to look in someone's window, that crosses a major line for me. Like, that's a parenting fail.
It is a parenting fail.
Not address a problem that could turn into a much bigger problem the older that they get.
Could is will. I mean, they're training their kids to be peepers, that, like, the law doesn't look too kindly on that.
I mean, you taught the kids a lesson that the parents refused to do. So, and it needed to be taught. So, no, NTA for me. 100%.
It's an NTA for me as well. I think you took it a mild direction here. Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. You're not an asshole here. It's officially an NT.
The parents across the street, though, assholes.
Indeed. Shall we scale them? Where would you put them on said scale?
Ask on to.
I was going to say the same thing.
Definitely shouldn't have done that.
Definitely should not have done what they did, which was nothing. Definitely shouldn't have been inactive in this. Should have taken some kind of action to correct their children's behavior, because the trajectory of this is no bueno. Here pretty soon, they're going to be running into Elise at a federal prison for a black hole inspection. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Am I the astronaut for calling my brother a disgusting, gross man at his daughter's birthday party? My brother, Paul, and I are not close at all. We have very different worldviews and have incompatible personalities. I can tolerate him, but I would never consider him a friend. He's married to Lisa for 1 or 2 years now, and they have a beautiful daughter together. My girlfriend Amy and I were invited to celebrate my niece's first birthday. Most of the family was invited, and it would be the first time I would have seen them all together. I only see my family once or twice a year with a few exceptions. I'm guessing that's intentional as well. Amy and I arrived a little earlier than we were supposed to, and instead of waiting in the car, we decided to go in. The first thing I noticed is how calm my brother seemed to be in contrast to Lisa, who was frantically running up and down. When he saw Amy, he immediately handed the baby over to her and got a beer to sit down and watch TV. Lisa was clearly struggling, and he was content with a beer and Netflix.
Good job.
The laser beams that would be coming out of your skull if I had done this, I wouldn't have been able to focus on Netflix because my brain, my temples would be melting with the lasers that you were sending my direction. I don't want to be rude, and maybe this was a one-time thing, but it bothered me how uninvolved he was. He handed Amy a baby with a full diaper with vomit on its clothes. Okay. Nope. Eventually, Amy, Lisa, and I finished everything. The house was clean, the food was ready, and Lisa looked ready to host a big gathering. We all paid zero attention to Paul. When my family arrived, I thought everything was going well. I avoided Paul and enjoyed speaking to my family. After we had sat down to eat, Paul approached me, drunk, thanking me for helping Lisa. I did not want to be around him for long and moved out of his way. He was very persistent. I was ignoring him, but he started talking about Amy. Protect Amy like a real man. Or, you got a great woman by your side. You know what, whatever. It was slightly odd and mildly uncomfortable, but I was able to brush it away. Amy was trying to sober him up a little bit before cake cutting, so she was selectively hearing. We tried to get him to stop talking and drink water. However, he had a lot to say about Lisa. He was complaining about how pregnancy ruined Lisa's body and how a baby ruined his life. Oh, FTG. Amy and I kept looking at each other awkwardly, and we were soon going to leave him be. We didn't leave the conversation soon enough. He was complaining to me about his sex life, or lack thereof, and commenting how desperately he wanted to have sex with someone fit like Amy. This made both of us extremely uncomfortable. Amy left, quickly apologizing to Lisa. I told him that he was a disgusting, gross man who needs some help before I left. Apparently, this made him super upset, and he started wailing at the party. Paul told everyone that the reason he was crying was because of my words to him. He got over it quickly, but a few people told me I was wrong to shame a father on his child's birthday. I could probably have left without making a statement. Am I the astronaut? Top comment, father? LOL, okay. Your brother could not be bothered to help his wife prepare for his child's party. One-time thing or not, this is not acceptable. He then handed his baby over to the first available woman to deal with a diaper and soiled clothing. During his child's birthday, he made remarks about how said child ruined his life, ruined his wife's body, and compared her now ruined body to someone he finds more attractive, whom he'd prefer having sex with. His brother's girlfriend, to put a cherry on top. You are NTA, and he should be ashamed of himself. I hope Lisa figures out how to leave him. This poor lady has a 1-year-old. She's trying to solo host a party, and he's Netflixing and not chilling, but he's Netflixing and douching. He's the worst.
A disgusting human being. I mean, I doubt he was actually crying at his party. I'm sure it was just like, ugh, what? So he got drunk at a 1-year-old's birthday party, didn't bother to help his wife. I can't believe he has a wife. And then hit on his brother's girlfriend. I don't think it becomes, I think you nailed it, OP. Your brother is a disgusting, despicable human being, and he deserved to be called that. He deserved way worse than what you said to him. He deserved to be punched in the face, honestly, because I don't understand how this woman is still with him. I hope that his wife figures out a way to leave, because this isn't life. You're married to a walking red flag. You're married to a man that is of the utmost disgusting. Gross.
I don't even, how does somebody get to this point where they think that this is okay? How does somebody adopt a worldview and then lets that shit come out of their face and they're like, yep, still checks out. I stand behind it. Maybe I'm just a little spicy here, but this seems like he's worthy of the black hole. This is not for you, OP. This is for your douche canoe of a brother-in-law.
Yep, be gone.
He's the worst and needs to change things now. Am I the astronaut for telling my soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law that she's the one who taught her son he could cheat and think he'd get away with it? About 3 weeks ago, I found out that my husband has been cheating on me. The day that I found out, I packed bags for me and the kids and left. I did not confront him about the cheating. I just let him know that our marriage was over, but that I hoped to work with him on an amicable divorce and custody arrangements. Of course, he did all the cliche begging, crying, swearing he would change. It was a mistake and meant nothing, blah, blah, blah. I just said, that's nice. Well, let me know where to send the divorce papers. He was shocked. He told me before that his dad cheated on his mom, but she was able to forgive him. He must have expected me to do the same. Since then, I've only communicated with him about the girls. He is running in circles trying to get me to react to anything else he says. I give him nothing. He has begged me to just talk to him. I said there is nothing to talk about. My mother-in-law confronted me outside the gymnastics gym. I was going to hand off the girls to her so they could spend time with Dad. Mother-in-law told me that she was very disappointed in the way that I'm handling all of this, that she expected more maturity from me, and that she hopes it doesn't impact the girls negatively long-term. I let her say whatever she wanted. She's allowed her opinion, but she looked at me waiting for a response of some kind. So I asked her, why are you directing your anger at me when your son is the one who ended this marriage? She said that I'm the one who chose to end the marriage, not him, that he was willing to work on it and go above and beyond to prove that it was a mistake and all that nonsense. And how it was the most shocking how cold I've become, that I won't even talk to him. I said, well, what is there to say? He decided to end the marriage. The time to go to marriage counseling was before he did what he did. There's nothing left to salvage. He made the decision, and now he lives with the consequences. She was getting herself all worked up and upset, and oh boo-hoo, don't you feel bad for tearing apart this family? Don't you want your daughters to grow up in a stable home? How could you walk away after all this? She said she couldn't imagine breaking up her family over something like this. Interesting how she said, don't you want your daughters to be in a stable home? I'm like, that ain't stable. What makes you think that's stable? I said, well, maybe if you had, your son wouldn't think he can cheat without consequences. You're the one who taught him this. She got that big shocked look on her face, told me that I was being a needlessly cruel monster over all this. And oh boo-hoo, she's disappointed. I'm not keeping the girls from him. I'm being helpful with those arrangements, and I plan to be generous when it comes to splitting time. I have no interest in taking anything that wasn't mine when we entered into our marriage. But somehow, I'm the cruel monster. How? Top comment here. Apparently, your soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law listened to someone who gave her that same damn speech when her husband was out around, and she bought it. How dare you not buy it? How dare you have your own self-respect, dignity, and integrity while she has a son who is no better than his cheating father? NTA. Ote Hodor.
I loved that top comment.
It was great.
Yep.
She probably did receive the same speech from somebody when it happened to her.
Right, and it was a different time. We were just supposed to tolerate it. Here it is. Like, your actions have consequences, and I'm handing them to you. Yeah. And you did it to yourself.
And he knew that was a risk, right?
Right.
He knew the risks whenever he decided to do what he did, whether he wants to admit it or not, in whatever capacity, he knew.
And he probably knew her stance on it, that it was something that was unforgivable. Yep. And I know, people can work through cheating, but that is their choice. Your choice. It's also your choice to leave. And she exercised that right to walk away and not work on this marriage, not to try to fight through whatever caused it. It doesn't matter at this point. She made her choice, and her ex now has to live with it. He doesn't get a say in it.
Yeah. Am I the astronaut for getting upset with my husband after he told me nothing will change while I am pregnant? Throwaway account. So me, 26 female, and my husband, 28 male, who I'll call Jake for this story, have been together for 5 years and married for 3. We've recently started trying for a baby as we both felt like it was the next step in our life together. About 3 weeks ago, I got a positive test back. We were really, really happy and told our family. Now my mom and mother-in-law want to throw a big baby shower for us. It was just super good news all around. Well, 2 nights ago, me and Jake were getting ready for bed when he reminds me to go through the house and make sure all the lights are off. Now he can be a little lazy at times, and it has been a nightly routine for me to make sure all the lights are off that he leaves on before we go to bed. I wasn't feeling very well and asked if he could just do it since he wasn't doing anything and was literally standing by the door. He then tells me, "No, this is what is expected of you every night." I was a little hurt, but didn't want to fight with him, so I just did it. When I came back, Jake goes on this very long and unprovoked rant saying things like, just because you're pregnant doesn't mean anything will change, and you're still expected to cook, clean, do all the chores every day, because how can you be expected to be a mother if you can't handle a little work?
This guy.
Danger! 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 He wasn't yelling or anything. He was talking to me quietly, like I was 2 inches tall. Maybe he was talking to his dick. I was shocked because I had never heard him say anything like this. The rant went on for about 30 minutes before I interjected and asked, well, what do you plan on doing to help me with all of this? He then got extremely defensive, saying he works his ass off at his job to provide for me and what is going to be our future children. For context, I don't work at the moment. My job was not paying enough to justify my going, so I'm a full-time college student. He ended by saying that it doesn't matter how I feel physically or mentally. It is a mother's job to push through. And if he helped and babied me, I wouldn't be a good mother.
Okay.
I got extremely upset and started yelling, and I said, I wish I would have known this is how you felt before I got pregnant with your baby. There was a moment of silence before he started crying, and he left for the night to stay at his mother's house. He hasn't been back yet, and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law have called me berating me and saying I broke Jake's heart with what I said and needed to apologize immediately. And until I do, he isn't coming home. I don't know how to feel. So am I the astronaut for yelling at my husband after he said he isn't helping me with anything during the pregnancy because it's a mother's job to deal with it? Edit! First, I want to thank all of you for the responses. I'm sorry I haven't really responded to anyone specifically, but I really do appreciate you guys. A few of you asked if I told my mother-in-law and sister-in-law what he said, which I did. They basically said I was being sensitive, and all he meant was pregnancy isn't an excuse to be lazy. He meant no harm. Okay. I'm getting some things together, and I'm going to be headed to my mom and dad's house. My mom is furious with him and doesn't want me apologizing to him or talking to him without the situation either being recorded or having a witness. Regardless, I'm okay, and I'll be okay. I do appreciate all of you, though. You have opened my eyes to many things I may have been ignoring or looking past over the years. Top comment here. Oh, so he won't baby you, but he'll run back home crying to mommy because you called him out on his bullshit. Wow. Just wow. I think you can salvage this if you stand your ground. If not, I'm so sorry. NTA.
As someone who was babied my entire pregnancy, I'm still a great mom, and I still work. I still cook. I still do all of those things because I have a partner who shows up for me even when I'm not able to like pull my own weight. He still shows up for me, and I would do the same for him in a heartbeat. And if you can't be a partner to someone, don't f***ing marry them, and definitely do not get pregnant with them. And I'm talking to the dad, because you can't show up for 1 second. You left the lights on. You go turn them off. You piece of shit. Like, I can't even imagine, just so you know, this is how it's going to be. No, babe. This is a partnership. Just so you know, we're going to work on this together, and we're going to do this together. And guess what? It's your turn to go turn off the lights. All of this, like, and where it 100% came from, and this is why I wanted you to read the edit, was from his mom. Like, his mom is preaching this down because guess what? That's what was ingrained in her head from the very beginning, and that's how it's supposed to be. But no, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. You can raise a kid together.
It's generational trauma, right? It's a generational problem because people were doing the best they could with what they understood, and I think they thought they were doing the right thing. Everybody thinks they're doing the right thing. They thought they were doing the right thing. What you're expecting here is different. And yeah, it would have been great to have this conversation before getting into this situation. Also, like him waiting to drop this 30-minute monologue on you until after you're pregnant and after he's making a point feels like he was handed a script by mommy. I
100% believe there was a conversation.
To her and make sure she knows she still expects to do all the chores because just going to school isn't a job. You might be gone for the same amount of time, but you make money and she does not. So when she gets home, all the work is on her. Am I the astronaut for telling my mom's boyfriend his son is not my responsibility? My male 20 parents divorced when I was 16, and it was messy. I live with my mom now, her boyfriend Mark, 43, and Mark's son Liam, 11. I'm in my second year of college, which is its own special kind of stress with exams and projects. The dynamic is fine, usually. Mark is okay, but he has a habit of assuming I'm a newly acquired babysitter. Liam's a good kid, but wasn't raised properly, which is another entire thing, and he's just 11. He's energetic, loud, he's very impersonal, and doesn't understand the concept of personal space yet. The issue happened this past Saturday. I had a massive assignment due on Monday morning, and I was planning on spending the entire weekend at the library on campus. On Saturday morning, I'm packing my bag. Mark comes to me to let me know he and my mom are going away, and I need to keep an eye on Liam. I was immensely stressed, so I told him I can't and that I'd have to go to uni to focus on my uni work. He waved me off and said it's fine and I should take him along with me to campus and keep him busy on the tablet. Immediately, I was like, no, I'm not taking an 11-year-old kid to my university while I need to focus on a big submission. I said no, trying to be firm, saying that I cannot be responsible for him for an entire day at uni, and asked if he couldn't stay at a friend or his grandma's or mom's. Mark's face fell and he looked genuinely annoyed. He told me it's just one day and that trying to organize stuff with other parents and family would be too much of a hassle, and that the least I could do was help out. I couldn't take it, honestly, so I've snapped. I've been under a lot of pressure for printing assignments and group work, etc., and that was low-key the last straw. I told him that Liam is his son, not mine. He is not my responsibility. I didn't choose to have a kid when I wasn't ready, and my only obligation is to get my degree and move out. They both went silent for a bit, visibly upset, and after a while, Mark said it's fine and that I shouldn't bother asking them favors in the future. My mom later that day texted me and said I was disrespectful and hurtful, which I did lose my temper slightly, but I feel like they had no right to try and force Liam as my responsibility so last minute. Am I the astronaut for what I said?
I wonder what story your mom got from Mark, because I don't think it was very truthful to the actual situation.
Well, hold on. It said they both went silent for a bit, which threw me because...
Oh, I thought it was talking about Mark and Liam.
I don't think Liam was there. I think it was his mom and Mark. I'm trying to go back and read and see. He doesn't ever specify, but then he says they both went silent.
I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. If your mom got the true story and that's how she feels, then she's an asshole right alongside Mark, because that is Mark's child. That is Mark's responsibility. Your mom married Mark and took on partial responsibility for that child. So it is their responsibility to find childcare. It doesn't matter if it's for 1 hour or 5 days. It is still their responsibility to secure childcare for that day. And they didn't ask you ahead of time. They didn't do anything appropriately and to ensure that they had someone to care for their child. So they're straight up assholes, and you called them on it, and now they're pissed off.
And this wouldn't be any different if this was your biological
No,
sibling.
not at all.
They gave you no notice. You're 20 years old, and yeah, you live there, which is the one risk that you have at play now. They can make your life more difficult because you live there if you don't play by their rules. Their rules are dumb, obviously, but...
And then they're going to wonder why you don't talk to them.
Yeah.
If they do that.
You're probably going to be punished here. But I would say this. I think you should have a serious conversation with your mom because you got a text from your mom later that day and she said you were disrespectful and hurtful. Okay, just going out on a limb here. But it was later in the day. How many times had Mark been like, that little shit was completely disrespectful. Do you let Mark talk to you like that? You need to let Mark know that he was disrespectful and that...
Mark is the stepdad.
I know. Oh, I'm saying Mark was saying this.
Yes.
Mark was saying this to mom
about OP
enough times where she eventually is like, yeah, you were disrespectful and hurtful. She's like, there, I messaged him. We'll talk later. Have a heart-to-heart with your mom. Let her know exactly where you're at and exactly where this is leading. Now, all of this is happening because they don't respect you. They marched up and they're like, hey, we need you to do this. It's a last-minute thing. We don't care what you have going on. You're going to do this.
Right.
And you were like, hell no. And they continued pushing until you had to. Like, they pushed and pushed and pushed and then blamed you for the reaction. Narcissist playbook, right?
Right.
This is because they don't respect you, but that's not news. That's not new news for you. That's why you're trying to get the hell out of there. So you might make your life a little bit more miserable there in the short term, but I would seriously have a heart-to-heart with mom and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is why I'm working my ass off the way that I am right now, because I can't wait to get the out of here to get away from this. And when I'm gone, I'm probably gone because of this. At least give her the context so that maybe the next time something like this comes up, she can be like, no, Mark, I don't want my child to never talk to me again because you're a dick. And you keep trying to pressure these situations. I don't want that situation. And maybe she'll stand up and prevent it from happening. I quit my job so I do not have to work the holidays, and now a new mom has to work in my place. Am I the astronaut? I'm an ICU nurse, and for the last 6 years, I have worked every Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and New Year's. It was no big deal to work all these holidays because I do not have an immediate family, widowed 5 years ago, no children due to infertility issues. My parents and siblings have jobs in retail and public safety, which require them to work the holidays as well, so we traditionally celebrate the holidays several days after the actual holiday. This year, my parents retired and wanted to take a family trip to Europe because we have many relatives in Europe, and they wanted to go on European Christmas markets. In July of this year, I requested the week of Christmas off, and it was approved. My brother and sister, as well as their spouses, also got the time off from their jobs since it was requested so early. We are heading to Europe for Christmas. Fast forward to the last week of October, my boss calls me in the office to tell me that she has to take away my Christmas vacation because a coworker had a baby a few months ago, and she needs the time off to celebrate the baby's first Christmas. This same coworker had a baby last year and had this baby 10 months from the other one. The coworker did not work any of the last holidays, last year, and is not scheduled to work any this year. Made boss aware of this point. I argued that my vacation request was approved back in July, and I made plans based on that request being approved. Also, that I had worked the last 6 Christmas holidays and would be working Thanksgiving and New Year. She stated that the priority for holiday vacations was given to those who had families. Is that legal? HR folks, is that legal? I informed her that just because I am widowed and did not have children does not mean that I do not have a family. She backpedaled and stated that people with children were given the priority so they could spend Christmas with them. Again, I reminded her that my vacation was approved back in July and I would not cancel my trip, so someone who did not request vacation time in a timely manner could have the time off just because she had a baby. Needless to say, my boss did not change her mind. She put me on the schedule for Christmas and took my coworker off. I took the issue to HR and they simply said the manager is the one who determines the schedule and no work rules were broken. Is that legal? Well, her plan backfired as I turned in my notice and my last day will be the day before Thanksgiving. Since I quit, my coworker now has to work Thanksgiving and Christmas. My other coworkers are saying that I'm a jerk for not just sucking it up and working Christmas and letting my other coworker have Christmas with her baby. Normally, I do work all the holidays so people can have their time with their family. I have for the past 6 years. The one time I want to do something special with my family, I'm the villain. I do not feel that I am the a-hole here since I requested the time off and made plans accordingly. I will greatly miss my job and love the hospital where I worked and the unit I was in. However, it is time for reflection and to put me first, something I have not done since my husband passed. Since nursing jobs are plentiful, I plan on taking the entire month of December off and look for a new job in the new year. Wowza. Top comment here, you owe them nothing. You were proactive and were given the time off. Other people's lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on your part. Sounds like you've given a great deal of yourself over the years to the point you were taken for granted. The fact that your coworkers don't see any of your sacrifices is just another reason to run. It's time for you to enjoy a holiday with your loved ones. People often view the unmarried as less than. I'm glad OP decided to push back on this. You know, the whole preference to people who don't have families thing. I'm like, that doesn't feel right.
First of all, OP, I hope you have the best holiday in Europe with your family. You know, the key word being family, because you do have a family and you can't prioritize time off for people that have kids like that. That's not even remotely legal, I believe. And 2, I'm so glad that you turned in your notice and that you are getting the entire month off to enjoy yourself after working the last 6 holidays. And
surprise sabbatical.
This is when you, as an employer, treat your employees like they're nothing, like they don't deserve any consideration for what they're saying, that their vacation wasn't submitted 6 months ahead of time, like all of these things, and you treat them like they don't matter, you lose the good ones because they can go somewhere else where they do matter or find work for themselves, do something, but you can't treat people like this and treat them like they're less than because someone else decided to have a baby. And it's just, there's no way. So maybe you should just sue and never go back to work.
I was going to say, I would seriously talk to an attorney about the HR side of this because it feels like you were wronged. Or do some research first and then potentially, but be open to it because I don't feel like this is okay. And Amy Castro, you make a great point here. Christmas with new babies is for the parents. It's not, the kid doesn't know what day it is.
No, I think
you can do this on a different day. And I think that's one of the risks of the job that you're in, right? You understand that could happen. But you had every right to choose you here, OP. And I think, it sounds like it's probably about damn time. And the stars are just aligning for your family for all this to happen at the same time. Like your folks retired and your other family members time off was granted way back too. So it's like the stars align for this to happen. The fact that you have the comforts and the means to be able to take the whole month off and refresh and reposition, I think it makes this all work, right?
Right.
Obviously, a lot of people can't be like, I'm just going to take the whole month off and see where the wind blows me and figure out where I'm at. Most people probably don't have that comfort level, but you do. And you exercise your right to choose yourself. And this is also why a lot of people, employee-wise, have the mentality of, oh, you can't give 110% like consistently. Because if you work 6 Christmases in a row, they're going to expect you to work 20 Christmases in a row. So like going above and beyond is a danger, is a risk in a lot of employee minds, right?
Because they take advantage of it instead of seeing
it. Yes. And that's
for
sad.
what it is. And to work 6 in a row and then ask for one off and then to have it be approved and then taken away from you, like that's just top tier shitty.
Yep.
And
they FIFO'd.
Yeah, they lost a good employee and do not look back.
Am I the astronaut for ruining a bachelorette party and subsequent wedding? I guess I should ask, are we the assholes? Because it's about my girlfriend and me. Some background, Katie, 27 female, and I, 27 male, have been together since college. Katie is/was best friends with Jessica, 27 female, since freshman year. After we graduated, my oldest friend, Ben, 28 male, moved to our city. We introduced Jessica and Ben, they hit it off, and they are getting married in a few weeks. Jessica asked Katie to be a bridesmaid. In her family, the oldest sister is always the maid of honor, so that's why Katie wasn't maid of honor, but since Jessica's sister lived on the other side of the country, Katie would end up being the de facto maid of honor and doing all the maid of honor duties. Ben asked me to be his best man. About 4 months ago, Jessica asked Katie if she could lose some weight for the wedding.
Hell no.
Everyone else in the bride's party are sizes 2 or 4. Now, Katie's not big, she's a size 8. She also had an eating disorder in her teens, which Jessica is fully aware of, and took her years of therapy and self-love to have a healthy relationship with food and with her body. Katie apparently responded, "Oh, okay," mostly out of shock, but told me she had no desire to fall back into a cycle of starving herself, so others were more pleased with her appearance. Yeah, also, don't you know that puts you on Vecna's radar? Sorry, we're watching season 4 Stranger Things right now. Then, 6 weeks after that, Jessica confronted Katie about not taking her weight loss request seriously and told her she was being demoted to a regular guest so the wedding party was more uniform and aesthetically pleasing. I confronted Ben, but he did the whole, "it's her special day," and "happy wife, happy life" bullshit. At this point, Katie wasn't even sure if she was gonna go to the wedding, but insisted I stay the best man. A few weeks after that was a mutual friend's birthday party. This would be the first time Katie and Jessica would be in a room together since the demotion, and while Katie hoped Jessica would pull her aside and apologize, instead, Jessica didn't even acknowledge Katie all evening. The next day, Ben called me to say Jessica thought Katie made the party so awkward and she doesn't want that at her wedding, so Katie is uninvited. Since they've already paid for Katie's meal, I could bring a +1, but it obviously couldn't be Katie. At this point, I stepped down as best man and told them I wouldn't be attending because it was hypocritical for them to expect me to celebrate their relationship when they couldn't even respect mine. You should have done this earlier, but still. Better late than never. But here's where Katie and I might be the assholes. Katie organized the whole bachelorette party, and that was taking place in a nearby island country. When she made the group booking at the resort and spa, she paid a deposit and had to keep her card on file until everyone arrived and paid for their share. She emailed Jessica that since she wasn't attending anymore, to please have someone else put their card on file to secure the booking and provided all the contact details. She texted her to say she sent an important email and was left on red. She texted her again a few days later asking if the card was replaced and was left on red again. A few days after that, she texted Jessica that she had 48 hours to sort it out or she would cancel the booking. Katie was very concerned that Jessica would be petty enough to tell the venue to just charge back the entire cost of the card on file, so that's why Katie wanted her card off the booking. Katie called the resort 48 hours later, discovered her card was still on file, and she canceled the booking. When the party arrived, there was no hotel booking for them and no available rooms on the island that they could afford, so they had to change their flights and fly home the same day. We're getting blamed for ruining the party, even though Katie made the consequences very clear. Since then, a bridesmaid and new best man have both dropped out after hearing what really happened, so we're getting all the blame for their wedding being ruined. So, are we the Askenauts? Wait, after hearing the truth?
I love the solidarity of the other bridesmaid and best man dropping out of the wedding. Like, love it so much. It's just icing on the wedding cake. Who asked someone to lose weight to be in their wedding?
Yeah, but who I feel like an owl right now. I'm just like, who's blaming you? You're getting all the blame for their wedding being ruined. It's got to be just them, bride and groom. That's got to be it.
Totally. They're spinning this story.
Bride. But bridesmaid and new best man have both dropped out after hearing what really happened. So the truth is out there. The truth is out there. So everyone soon will know the truth of it and know that they're just terrible people. That's why their wedding is falling apart, because they're pushing everyone around them away from them, because what she wanted her perfect Insta photo or her fucking Pinterest wedding, like that was worth losing a friendship over.
Right.
That was worth being irresponsible when you knew that this bachelorette party was getting canceled. You had multiple warnings. You still did nothing, and you're so entitled that you thought you could ignore all that and still just show up and have this bachelorette party resort soiree in an island country on the woman's dime that you told needed to lose weight to remain in your wedding, and then kicked out of your wedding and then uninvited from your wedding?
That's the TLDR.
You fucking bizzo. Like, this is just okay. Bizzo. Also, big ol' thumbs down, DFHB rejection here. Also, you got the Delulu. Like, I don't.
It kind of makes you wonder how many times this Jessica Bizzo friend has walked all over Katie. And the one time Katie didn't do what she asked, it was like she shit on her and then kicked her while she was down and then shit on her again. And I have to wonder the dynamics of the friendship and how many times Katie has bent to her will and then she doesn't, because this can't, like,
I don't know. Like, I know this is out there, and I know it's not an uncommon request, unfortunately. Has anyone encountered this shit firsthand, where someone is like, I need you to change this thing about your face or your body to be in my wedding?
Right. We've read stories about people asking their hair to be, like, someone wanted someone's long hair cut because she wanted to be the bride, only wanted to have the long hair, or change the color of the hair, like all these different things. And I am guaranteeing that someone has said something about, a bride has said something about weight before. Oh, yeah. There's no way.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want your wedding to be that perfect, just hire people, like, to fill in as the bridesmaids and the best men. Just go hire people, because clearly you don't care who fills the role. You only care about what they look like. So just go hire someone. Do everyone a favor.
Perform auditions. Like, have a casting call.
Yeah.
Do it right. Cheating ex gets deprived of Netflix when he needs it the most. My cheating ex-husband was extremely entitled and actually thought that he could call me after I kicked him out and ask for my debit card information to pay some bills for the business he owned. When I refused, he asked me to go run and get money orders and deliver them for him. It was apparently my responsibility because he owed back child support and therefore didn't have a bank account. The money in the account was mine alone. He wound up in the hospital a few months later. I had completely forgotten about the Netflix account that I paid for and had never changed the password to. I got an alert that someone had logged in at the hospital. I waited about 5 to 10 minutes, just long enough to settle in and pick out a show, then changed the password and selected log out all devices. It was minor, it was petty, but it still brings me joy when I think about it, especially knowing he couldn't make another account without a debit card. Commenter, you're my hero. OP responding, I also posted him a screenshot of his Tinder as our divorce announcement. Wow.
This level of petty is like, I love that that OP said they waited 5 to 10 minutes, like just long enough to settle in, pick out the show you're going to watch, and then bam, rip it right out from underneath.
That's the brilliant part. That's brilliant.
It's the most
not immediately beautiful. Doing that, being like, oh, you know what?
Give it some time.
I'm going to refresh that homepage I'm going to refresh that home screen on that Netflix account so I can see what continue watching changes to, so that I know you've started something, and then I'm logging.
It's diabolical. It's beautiful. It's epic, and I'm so glad that you shared the story with the world, because it is. OP is a genius, Matilda, 100%.
Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.